So, Greg Wyshynski, it's a day where we will have 11 games on the board tonight. So it's not a frozen frenzy, but I'm trying to come up with like a cutesy name for the NHL tonight. It's not quite a frenzy. Is it a frozen fervor? Is it a frozen agitation? Do we go like Thursday tumult? Like how do you want to do this? It's not frenzy. Like it's not that crazy. It's like it's not a fire. It's a contained fire. Like how do we want to pitch this one tonight with only 11 games?
Like a Thursday tussle. Like tumult is pretty good. That's a good
thank you.
5-cent vocabulary test word.
Thank you.
It's not enough games where anonymous NHL team executives will bitch to Pierre LeBrun about the start times.
Our season ticket holders don't appreciate the 6:15 start.
The first people to complain about a lack of revenue opportunities in the National Hockey League are then the first people to complain whenever anybody, the NHL, the rights holders, anybody tries something a little bit different and adventurous. And by the way, whenever I read something like that from anonymous team executives complaining about like the start times confuse our fans or whatever, I always think back to the first Winter Classic. And I think to myself, how many teams the NHL had to go through before they got to Pittsburgh and Buffalo to host the first Winter Classic. And it was a non-insignificant number of them. And I always think back to, it's a good thing they don't listen to some of these guys sometimes, because then the real adventurous stuff the league attempts would be squashed like a bug because a bunch of rich old white guys are complaining about it.
Do you think that is? I want to ask you about some frozen frenzy stuff, sort of some behind the scenes from someone deep inside ESPN, as you are. They're documenting all of it. But do you think that's like we're going to go through a process here in I don't know how long, but probably not long order, where there is a change within the NHL, and there's a new commissioner, and maybe there's a new Coley Campbell. Like if it's let me give you an example. If the next Gary Bettman is Bill Daly, and the next Coley Campbell is Brendan Shanahan, how different do you think things are? I agree, and should be, yes. How different are things?
That's an interesting question, because I think that people don't recognize how active Gary is behind the scenes when it comes to the presentation of the game. Not only in meetings with rights holders, but also in trying to push teams towards increasing access and pushing the game forward and making it more accessible for rights holders and other people to bring their cameras into locker rooms and things like that. So like, I've never had a conversation with Bill about his vision for like media. But I imagine if Steve Mayer is still the guy who's in charge of the big events and they still have many of the people in the NHL that are there now, there won't be too much change there. I mean, if you're talking about like the game itself, the bigger change would be Colin Campbell to Shanahan. One, because I don't think he's got any relatives in the league at the moment. Ooh. And two, because I think Shanahan has shown himself to be someone who's very forward thinking. And in that capacity, as sort of the NHL's rules are, if you will, I think that he could get back to the Shanahan that we saw during the canceled season to really revamp the game.
It's the hockey guy beside the commissioner, right?
Yeah.
Here is like the hockey guy who's had a number of different positions, not unlike Colin Campbell, whispering in the commissioner's ear, "This is what we should do." And listen, I've said it before. You've said it before. Shanahan, to me, seems like an obvious pick, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves. That's a decision for somewhere way down the road. By the way, Martin Nečas, Elliot Friedman, breaking this one a second ago, has signed. Oh man, if you're Adrian Kempe right now, juicy. I might be the only one on the board at July 1st. Avs and Martin Nečas, 8-year contract, 11.5 on the AAV. Front-loaded $60 million in signing bonuses, full no move in the first 7 years of his new deal. Wowza. Let's get there in a couple of seconds here. In the meantime, we'll kick off the program by letting you know what's on the program today. The Blueprint is, as always, powered by our friends at FanDuel. Download the app today and play your game with FanDuel. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk about the Boston Bruins and other NHL issues, and probably the Martin Nečas contract extension that Elliot just broke a couple of seconds ago. Pete Blackburn from What Chaos Stops By. We'll talk about the Nashville Predators. Greg, I have a theory or an idea, or maybe just a hot take. Right. But I'm going to spill it all out here in a couple of seconds. The Toronto Maple Leafs are spiraling, and if anybody was paying attention to the game last night, they may or may not have noticed that a couple of jerseys hit the ice. Meanwhile, Montreal and Detroit on fire. That was once like the best rivalry in the NHL, but I'm going back to the 50s. Anyhow, Jonathan Toews faces off against the Chicago Blackhawks, and as we mentioned off the top, what is next in Boston? But before we get to my thought on or a question about the Nashville Predators, because unlike how when I say things, you don't go away and think about them, I thought a lot about what you said about the Preds on Tuesday. And I want to share that with you. Some of my thoughts off of it in a couple of seconds here. But anything you can share with us, peek behind the curtain, we talk about wrestling style, peek behind the curtain at Frozen Frenzy night around ESPN. Wish, the floor is yours.
I mean, I just wanted to kind of like listen, there's like 1,000 things that I would do to the frenzy to spice it up in the image of Greg Wyshynski. I think the job that we do is tremendous insofar as, you know, dropping into games and you know, focusing on the moments. But like,
hang on, would there be a swipe at Mike? Would there be a swipe at Mike Milbury? If it were up to you, would there be anything about Mike Milbury in the broadcast?
I would like it if I had my druthers.
Yeah,
I would like it to be a little less NFL Red Zone and more sampling the buffet of 32 teams at the same time early in the season. A real kind of get to know you situation, and maybe more of a focus on things like, for example, JT Miller returning to Vancouver and the inherent drama there. Like I feel like that could be accentuated a bit more, and some of those stories could be accentuated a bit more. But like, again, that's what I would want out of it. I would also want out of it for it to be more like Monday Nitro in the 1990s, where you cut to a fan viewing party of the Frozen Frenzy and check in on like
here we are at the mall.
It's hard to get hockey fans all on the same page. Like, you know, I think it happens for big international events, but it rarely happens during the NHL regular season. And I think when people gripe about the Frozen Frenzy, they gripe about split screen stuff, which is just whatever. I mean, you can never know when things are going to happen in a game. And I think they gripe about it being where it is in October. But again, like, you know, you'd have this on a Saturday getting absolutely shellacked by college football otherwise.
Yeah.
But I think it's also kind of like we all want it to be a night where we sit around and go on social media and talk about a shared experience. And I'm not sure if we're there with it yet, but again, I love it. I think it's awesome. And I think that we can get there with it.
The way that we used to do it when we did ice surfing, which is similar in spirit, the way that we would do it is, and we would do it every Tuesday, we would present it as sort of one continuous game, but you're continuing to drop in on a lot of games, but only the highlights of them. And you give a quick little backstory, like for 10 seconds that leads into it. Now, I think one of the mistakes that we made doing it is, and again, this is like, sorry, producers always want to make it a show and let's bring in guests and let's have segments. No. The way that I would visualize doing this thing, because like to your point, this is like we're going up to the buffet and we're going to try things that we've never tried before, because we're not going to look at the menu and say, I'm not paying $18 for something I don't know about. But if it's a one price for all, I might put that on the side of my plate. And that's kind of what you're doing here. And the way we used to do it is when something happened, let's say, what was the first game? Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Okay, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia is the first game on Tuesday night. When a goal happened or a fight happened or something controversial happened, producers would flag it, say, hang on, 40 seconds, you're going to it. And we'd throw to it and present it as if, now let's drop in on the Philadelphia Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. and we'd present it as if it were live without ever putting on live on the screen. But you knew that when we were going to a game, something was going to happen. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking, in this case, 16 games and making it all one single game, but only the highlights from all of them. A big goal, here's 30 seconds of a power play, here's a fight, here's a controversial video review, here's a crease crash, something like that. That's how I would envision, again, like if I ran the zoo, I would try to put the premium only on the highlights of the game and try to make it less of a show. Because let's face it, guys like me would just get in the way.
I think that's what they did for the most part. I mean, I guess if you have a guest on, my hope would be more like the Manning cast, where you're kind of like watching the games and watching the highlights with the guest versus kind of taking a sidebar. But I think they did a lot of the things you mentioned. I think the challenge is that people are so used to watching Red Zone on NFL Sunday, and it's a constant stream of check-ins with games where important shit's happening. And the problem with hockey is that there's no red zone unless you're going to just show every power play in its entirety or every overtime. It's hard to. I mean, you might go a good 15 minutes without there being anything happening in any of these games, and so that becomes kind of the challenge.
Okay, so the big news of the day is the Martin Nečas contract extension with the Colorado Avalanche. I honestly thought, Greg, that of all the players that we saw who were, McDavid is off the board and Eichel is off the board and Kyle Connor is off the board, etc. The one guy that I thought would get to free agency, figuring there was a lot of money that was out there, and the people to spend it on was getting fewer and fewer, that it would be Martin Nečas. Is this just an example of Martin Nečas having a number and saying, if you hit this number, I'm here. If you don't hit this number, I'm gone. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this number still comes in less than Mikko Rantanen.
Well, that was the whole reason they traded Rantanen.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Is that they thought that they could find a way to find a cheaper model that had commensurate production. And in 41 games with the Colorado Avalanche, Martin Nečas has 41 points. So they're getting commensurate production, and they're paying what does it come out to? 2.2 million AAV, less than what they probably would have to pay Rantanen. Wasn't he up to like 14 in that neighborhood?
It was something in that neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like,
with this one, they have money for. They have like they're healthy to sign. We sign Makar. That's a big. That's
the whole point. Like their argument was it was a financial consideration based on the work they needed to do at the trade deadline to make the team better, and then also down the line for Makar, and then also and this may have been said or unsaid. They kind of felt like if you put another player with dynamic offensive skills in the wing into that system with McKinnon on that power play, you could get commensurate results. And again, like Rantanen was well over a point per game with the Avalanche, but Nečas is a point per game player. So, I mean, if you want to look at the nuts and bolts of why they made the decision they made last year, you have to say, based on this contract, that they made the right call.
Okay, park that one for a second. We'll get Blackburn's thoughts on this at the bottom of the hour. I want to see your reaction to this one. It has been said before in WWE circles. I remember Adam Copeland told me this. Edge, he said that the vibe from up on high, the way that you make money is not your work rate, is not your body. The way you make money in wrestling is with your face. Your visuals, the way that you can emote, the way that you can connect with people. I'm curious to see your face when I say this. It's only a matter of time before Barry Trotz is coaching the Nashville Predators again, right? Like does it not feel like, I thought about what you were saying the other day a lot, and this is the conclusion that I came to. It's only a matter of time before Barry Trotz is coaching again and coaching the Preds. What does that mean for his general manager role? I don't know. Brian Poyle has been there going back to 2018. as assistant general manager, David Poyle's son, strong background with the Nashville Predators. Does it not feel like this is all going to end up with Barry Trotz coaching again? Excellent coach.
So let's game this out.
Okay.
One of the reasons why people didn't believe that Andrew Brunette was going to be fired before this season is because of how much money they owe him. He has a contract beyond this season. Mm-hmm. And so you never want to pay a guy not to coach while paying another guy to coach.
Correct.
Now, if you're already paying a guy to general manage,
correct,
and he just
see where this is headed. This is part of our conversation the other day.
Plate.
Yes,
right. So now you're not paying two coaches. You're paying one coach not to coach, and your general manager is already being paid, and now he can coach along with managing generally. So from that aspect, it's kind of a clever notion. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like for those like obviously he's got so much cachet within that organization and within that community. Like the idea of how do you get people excited again about a team that is wallowing would be to have the best coach in franchise history, come back behind the bench. And when I say wallowing, I looked inside the numbers. So they're 24th in 5-on-5 scoring and 5-on-5 expected goals. They're 28th in 5-on-5 defense, 22nd in 5-on-5 expected goals against. The real problem is that when you're not good at even strength, you need to make up for it somewhere. Yeah. And they are not making up for it on the power play where they are 30th.
Right.
Juuse Saros, good. He's back.
905 goalley. He's a 905 goalie right now. That's fine. You're north of 900.
Side of expected, you're positive good. Side of expected goals. His goals saved above expected. That's great. But then there are other players, as we talked about the other day, Steven Stamkos, that are not performing. So there's a lot of bad news.
Yeah.
And then there's a goalie who's basically kind of keeping them relevant at this point in the season.
Yeah. And there's also like a $700 renovation on Bridgestone Arena as well. That's the Nashville Predators started to undertake in the summer to improve the fan experience there. That's not lost on ownership. Bill Haslam, a new owner with the Nashville Predators. I don't think that's lost at all. And a lot of that is going to be predicated on we're going to polish this thing up real nice, and people are going to come here because we're going to have a good team. The problem is the Nashville Predators aren't a very good team at all. And the one coach who's been able to make them go, the one guy who's sitting there as a manager, and we documented all the sort of, you're making a trade here, or you're signing as if you're still a coach and not a general manager. That guy's sitting right there. And that's why and he's a Stanley Cup coach. That's why I wonder, is it only a matter of time before Barry Trotz is coaching this team? And do you need to do it soon? Do you need to do it soon before there's not even a point and you're just in the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes?
Well, you're asking, you're missing the bigger question, which is, does it matter? That's not a playoff roster. You think it's a playoff roster?
I don't think so. But we've seen teams before who aren't part of a playoff roster. Look, one of the things we've been talking about, and I know they play in an incredibly difficult division as well. It just got even harder now that Utah is a much improved team.
Yeah, exactly.
But St. Louis and Minnesota are falling out of this thing too. If you're the Nashville Predators, you don't throw in the towel this early. You say, you know what? We still do have players here, and we have a goaltender that's keeping our head afloat. And if you'll recall, it wasn't too long ago that even though the Nashville Predators were out of the play, it was like 5 or 6 years ago, when Nashville was out of the playoff picture, come All-Star break, Juuse Saros said, "That's it, get on my back, boys," and took them to the playoffs. I mean, he has done this before. He's an older goalie now.
But to what end?
To get to the playoffs. To get to the playoffs.
But you just said it yourself. Like, the way the Central sets up, assuming Utah is for real, is you're going to have Colorado, Dallas, Utah, or Winnipeg, right? In that top three. Your entry point is probably the second wild card out of the Central. And so, congratulations, Barry Trotz. You've earned the right to get your ass handed to you by Colorado or Vegas. Like, what is...
I want you... Hang on a second. If you're
Nashville?
I want you to think like owners think for a second, because I'm sure rebuilds have been presented, to Vancouver ownership before. That's a non-starter. Every season, it's got to get into the playoffs. Rebuilds have been, presented to owners before. No thanks, we're not going through that. We want some playoff revenue or a shot at it. Again, like this is a market that's been competitive for a lot of years. This is a market that's starting to see the beginning of what could be a significant dip here, and it's not as if their prospect pool is turning heads or lighting the prospect followers on fire here. I'm just wondering, like, do you owe it to your team, your fans, to at least try to salvage this season? And is Barry Trotz going behind the bench the first way to do that? Or are you just saying, oh, you know what, call Montreal, see if they want Stamkos?
I think there's a chronic problem in sports and in the NHL in particular about team ownership believing fans are complete morons. And that market is mature enough where they would probably rather see the Predators aggressively get younger and get deeper talent-wise with young players than wallow in mediocrity for 5 years, hoping to get a wild card and 2 games of playoff revenue. Like, I think the market is mature enough to accept the rebuild in a way that ownership probably doesn't believe that they are.
You know how long fan bases accept, because every fan base talks the same way. Every fan, we're prepared for a rebuild. We can handle it. Our team needs to do it. We're prepared for a rebuild. You know how long they say that? 1 year.
2 years.
1.
You're wrong.
1.
It's
1 year, and then
1 year.
and then they start to get squirrely, and then you start to see it affect your bottom line.
I think
we're gonna quibble about 1 year or 2 years. Fine, 1 year or 2 years.
That's a big difference, because here's the thing: in year 1, it's a honeymoon. You have Celebrini, you have Bedard. You're all pretty happy about, now we've got something to build around. Mm-hmm. Then year 2, it's like, okay, who are his friends? Oh, here's Will Smith. Here's Nazar. Like, and then year 3, it's like, all right, you got the guy. We got his friends. Maybe we can start winning some games now, is how it happens. I don't think it's after 1 year. I think it's after 2 years.
I think the Chicago and San Jose most recent rebuilds have frightened teams. Like, San Jose's still
because
not
they're going to challenge
close.
for a cup in like 4 years.
There's no guarantee. There's no guarantees. They look good. They absolutely look good now, but there's still no guarantees on that. As you look around at the every night's a costume party and everyone's dressed as an empty seat, that terrifies owners.
Right.
That's what rebuilds are, and owners generally don't have a stomach for it.
You know what's funny? Like, San Jose in particular, Chicago's kind of a different market because it's an original 6 team and what have you. But like, San Jose was so moribund after their run of like cup contention.
Yep.
That really the only way to jumpstart this engine was to tank and to start fresh and to bring in a new crew of players. Like, you were never going to be able to do what you're suggesting with Nashville in San Jose, because that market, I think, has and I'm not trying to insult Nashville fans here, I think the San Jose market has a higher expectation for that franchise. The ceiling is higher. They've come to accept the kind of success that they had for 15 years with Thornton and Marleau there. And if you don't hit that mark, I don't think they show up. And so I think in that market, you had to tear it down to then get Celebrini and Smith and all the guys that are going to be really good there in like 2-3 years. I think in Nashville's case, I just think that they will settle for a rebuild before they'll settle for the mushy middle.
Okay, let's use this as a jump-off point before we get to Pete Blackburn here. Time now for the question of the day, presented by the Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 portable glass air fryer. That is a great lobster mug.
Meet
You always
the
love the
first
mugs.
of its kind. The Ninja Crispy portable cooking system. The power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hand. So you can cook big or small batches. Just prep it, crisp it, serve it, and store it all in one.
All right, meet the first of its kind, the Ninja Crispy portable cooking system. Now you have the power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hand. Just prep it, snap it, crisp it, serve it all in one container. This glass air fryer is PFSA free, thus no harmful chemicals while cooking. It includes a small 6-cup and larger 4-quart Tupperware container. Whether you're whipping up quick single-serve meals in 7 minutes, sharing crispy snacks on the go, or serving a crowd, the Ninja Crispy makes it easy. Cleanup is simple. All accessories are dishwasher safe and designed to nest for easy storage. Check out the link in the episode description or go to sharkninja.ca. What do we have for a QOD today? Zach Phillips.
Yeah, today's QOD is on the theme of the Nashville Predators. What's the next move for the Predators? So I posed it to the chat and people online.
Okay.
Some of the responses we've got so far. Spencer Newton, Nashville should quit while they're behind. They are a bottom 5 team in the NHL. Keep Saros and trade everyone else. Both Ryans would be worth a lot.
Okay.
We
what
also
else you
have
got?
a couple other. Portuguese Walrus said the Preds need to tank so that the Wild have somebody to feel superior to this season.
Wow. Oh, geez. Shot at Garen squad. Oh, man.
Donnie Does Dishes just says Preds are slow like the Leafs.
Ooh,
Ryan
shot
B says, is firing Trotz an option? And then the other one here, again, from Portuguese Walrus is, they are going to stay as they are as long as Barry is GM. Might make a Hail Mary trade or two. I just don't see things changing there.
Let me throw an option out. That I
Okay.
think is I'm gonna try to will this into existence this year.
Okay.
Is there a team, Jeff Merrick,
Okay.
that is constantly in need of a playoff scoring hero? Is there a team that has been maybe only a scant couple of goals away from advancing from the conference final to the Stanley Cup final?
The Carolina Hurricanes of the Metropolitan Division, sir, I believe you're referring to. Are you
Wouldn't
suggesting
you love-
Jonathan Marchessault to the Carolina Hurricanes?
Find a more perfect. I've watched several seasons of Love is Blind. There has never been a match on that show more perfect than the one I just made. Jonathan Marchessault, who, by the way, I think completely fits the Carolina aesthetic as well as being a complete pain in the ass. Send him to Carolina as the guy who gets you that one goal you've needed, and be the playoff hero. Perfect, perfect trade.
Let me throw a sort of like hockey dad geeky sidebar to this. One of the
Morgan
things,
geeky?
and I don't think, the Morgan geeky, yeah, exactly. The hockey dad Morgan geeky part of the conversation here. One of the things that I understand is important to Jonathan Marchessault, as it is to other players when choosing a market to go to, is what's the youth hockey program like? Because a lot of these guys have kids that play and they want them to go to good programs. That's why Nashville, who has actually 2 really good programs running beside each other, chose Nashville. That was one of the considerations. You know who else has a great youth hockey program? Raleigh. Junior Canes that's an awesome program. That's really done well. Which is and to Nashville's credit, I remember when they first started, one of the main things that the Preds did was invest in youth hockey and youth hockey programs. And I never put 2 and 2 together. I just thought they're helping to create the marketplace. That's actually a lure. That's actually a draw for players because there's a place for their, and let's face it, their high-level kids to play hockey. Carolina fits.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but
Yes.
one market that certainly is growing in leaps and bounds in the quality of their youth hockey would be Fort Lauderdale. If you needed another thing to get mad about, on top of the taxes and the beaches,
Right,
it's
right.
that now all of those kids are going to be playing against the alumni of former Panthers. And
Okay.
they'll have that going for them as well.
Okay, very good. With that, we'll bring aboard our guest for the program today. He is no stranger, certainly to Daily Faceoff and the Nation Network, where his program, What Chaos, are now card-carrying members of DFO. He is the one and only Pete Blackburn, who is here with his USA Hockey hat designed specifically to offend me. Pete, how are you?
Right. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I was told that I have to make an immediate player comp, that me being on this show is McDavid, Draisaitl, Trent Frederick, and I would be the Trent Frederick.
No, you're a better F1. Come on, knock that off. That's ridiculous, Pete. We do want to get into
Someone has to win a face-off.
Someone's got to win a face-off. Someone's going to win a board battle. That's you, Pete Blackburn. Before we get into Boston, the news today, Martin Nečas is off the board, leaving the field open now for Adrian Kempe, should he get to July 1st. Do you have a sort of nickel and dime or maybe, dollar and cent thought on what we just saw out of Colorado today?
Yeah, we kind of reacted to it live on the show, and the feeling that we came away with was like they had to do it. They kind of painted themselves into that corner a little bit, but don't love the number. And there was a lot of assumptions on DJ's part. Well, if he's a 30 to 35 goal scorer over the duration of this contract, it's going to be fine with the cap going up and all that. And I felt the need to remind him and everybody else that, Martin Nečas has never hit 30 goals, and right now he's shooting 30%. Is that gonna sustain? I know that it works with McKinnon, but I don't know. I don't love the number, but I feel like it's a deal they kind of had to do.
Wish, what do you think?
I think it's good. Like I said before you hopped on, Pete. The gambit was to not pay Rantanen in order to use that money on other players. And then the idea was that you could find another winger to produce on the wing of McKinnon. Once it's been established that they have decent chemistry, and I think it's been established, then I think that this signing made a lot of sense. I am with Marek though. He mentioned the idea that, of all the players that were potential free agents, Nečas made the most sense that he might hit the market just because of past pain in the ass negotiations with Carolina. So it is a little interesting to see him commit. Both in money and years to Colorado in the way that he has, but from I don't know. Kudos to Chris McFarland for figuring this thing out, and at the end of the day, getting the guy on a contract that's less than what they would have paid Rantanen, and then being able to use that cap space for other things.
But at the same time, too, from Martin Nečas's point of view, too, this is a situation where he's going to be on a team now that's competitive for a long time. You can go and chase every last nickel and rock a big contract, but if your team is miserable and you're not winning, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be locked into a long-term contract and almost impossible to move. And the example there is Jonathan Huberdeau, who didn't have to re-sign with Calgary, but when someone presents you with that kind of money, how do you say no? Not that Huberdeau is a sort of cautionary tale, but I do wonder how much players look at and say, you know what, I could chase an extra $1 million somewhere else, but is it worth it if I'm miserable where I go? Unless there's going to be some Stanley Cup contending team that has all this cap space available to sign me, in which case, yeah, sure, sign me up for that. But generally, it's not going to be a team that's as close to the Stanley Cup as the Colorado Avalanche. Pete, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about whether or not this is a good fit for Nečas and whether or not this is where he should take the deal. I think the bigger question, to Greg's point earlier, is well, we finally have an answer as to does he want to be anywhere? I wasn't even sure that he was going to play in the NHL next year based off of the way that we hear him complain about every situation that he's in and the way that he negotiates.
I do. By the way, I've mentioned this to Greg before, and this might be a sign of me aging, but you know what I really love more and more and more and more and more every single day that I'm alive? Grumpy people and grumpy hockey players. Grumpy people amuse me, and I love them more and more the older I get. I want the hockey player that gets to the rink, and the first thing they do before saying hello to anybody is complain about the coffee. Sign me up for that guy. I want to be around grumpy people for the rest of my life. Give me a team.
And there it is, folks. There it is, folks. The only indication that Jeff Marek is aging. No,
I got the salt and pepper beard too. That's a dead giveaway.
I get what you're saying. You're saying, but you're playing on Nathan McKinnon's wing. You got to pick your spots about what you complain about. And Leon Draisaitl is perfect because Leon Draisaitl has this inner grumpiness to him, but he never is a dick. He is a dick when the moment calls for him to be a dick, and he's so good at being a dick. So Leon Draisaitl, I think, is the gold standard of being an a-hole hockey player.
This is its own show, or at least its own segment. But I want to detour into another statement that Greg and I were talking about before he came on. And again, I'll preface it. We're going to get to the Bruins, I swear. I wonder, Pete Blackburn, if eventually here, perhaps sooner than later, I don't know, Barry Trotz ends up coaching Nashville again. That's where this is headed. Pick that up or put it down. What do you think? Trotz coaching Nashville again.
I mean, it would be real sicko hours if he saw that team and was like, you know what? I should get even closer to them and have my fingerprints even more all over them. That would be a real choice on his part. You mentioned, like, you get the older you get, the more you appreciate grumpy people. The older I get, the more I appreciate people doing less work and like just enjoying their life as much as they possibly can.
I don't think Trotz is enjoying this, Pete. I don't think Barry is enjoying
Barry
any part
Trotz
of
take
this.
over the reins and be like, "What are you doing?"
I don't know. As a Devils fan, it strikes me as just it happens sometimes.
Here comes
when
Lou.
your GM says,
Here comes Lou behind the bench.
Only I can fix this. I will be the iron fist behind the bench to scare them into quality and success.
It would be a tremendous story. I just wonder, like, where all this right now is headed for Nashville. I mean, everybody is underperforming outside of Juuse Saros. We have no idea this. You know, the size of the cliff that Steven Stamkos has fallen off of is immense. And so, where does it go? Normally, you talk about, okay, they're gonna dust the coach because it's hard to make trades. But if you do get let go of Andrew Burnett, I don't think that Bill Haslam, the owner, has an appetite to pay Andrew Burnett not to coach and to bring in another coach when they've already got a coach who's won a Stanley Cup, who's making all these deals that have got the Nashville Predators into the place that they're at now.
I mean, when you put it like that, I'm kind of into this idea because it's more of a punishment than Barry Trotz like rewarding himself. I like the idea of it being a punishment. I'll say that.
Okay, all right. Wish, you want to hop on some Bruins talk here?
Yeah, so Pete, I suggested that we get a Bruins, someone who knows the Bruins a little bit on today because, like, we've been talking a lot about Pavel Zacha and how, like, Pavel Zacha is a bit of a canary in a coal mine about the direction of the team. Everybody outside the Bruins is like, of course you trade Pavel Zacha. It makes total sense. You guys need a lot of shit on your roster. And then the Bruins are like, actually, he's the kind of guy you keep around for what we're building. And then the rest of us are like, what are you building? What do you see as the plan in Boston? Can you explain to me, like, what you see that team trying to accomplish in the next, like, 2 to 3 years?
No, I can't. I mean, it's a bad answer. You picked the wrong guy. I can't tell you what I see this team trying to accomplish because
great booking,
Wish. That's been the big issue that I feel like we all have around here with the Bruins is, like, ownership's telling us one thing, or not ownership, front office is telling us one thing. Like, we're committed to contending, to retooling. This is not a rebuild. We know that we can contend in the next, like, 2 years or so. That seems to be the messaging that we're getting. And then you look at the roster that they have right now and you say, well, where are the players coming from that are going to help you contend in the next few years? Because the free agency class doesn't look amazing. Your prospect pool doesn't look amazing. There's not a ton of help on the way. So, like, if the commitment is to competing in the next few years, yeah, you're going to want to hang on to guys like Pavel Zacha because he's one of the few, like, guys that you can recognize when you look at their daily face-off lineup every day. So that's my answer. But if you're trying to be the best that you can at asset management and position yourself to actually revamp this roster, you'd be wise to trade Pavel Zacha this season while he still has max value.
First of all,
I tried to tell Zach to book Cam Neely. Like, I knew Cam would be the guy who could explain all this shit. And we couldn't get him. He wouldn't pick up his phone. And then we had to bring on Pete, who's like, I don't know what's going on.
If there's anybody who wants to talk about the Bruins less in their current state than me, it's probably Cam Neely.
And maybe Don Sweeney. You might want to throw him into the mix as well. And you might even go to Charlie or Jeremy Jacobs. I'm fascinated with, and it's always tough to isolate, the sliding door moment for every team. Like, the moment where things began to unravel that you only understand with, like, historical context, and it's years and years later. There's two things there's two moments in the recent history of the Boston Bruins that I point to and go, okay, that was a sliding door moment. One of them was, of course, the Brad Marchand breakaway on Sergei Bobrovsky and the Bobrovsky right pad save. That's the one that we all look at. But there's another one, and it's in the 2022 playoffs. It's Boston and Carolina, and Andrei Svechnikov, as Hampus Lindholm is coming out from around the net, Svechnikov absolutely destroys him. I don't know that he's ever recovered from that hit myself, but the Bruins end up losing that series. Bruce Cassidy gets fired. And if Svechnikov doesn't catch Lindholm there, maybe the Boston Bruins win that series. Bruce Cassidy never gets fired. And maybe Pete DeBoer is still the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights at that point. We don't know. Which one are you
He would have
warmer
found
to?
some way to sewer his goaltender. He wouldn't have that job. Don't worry about it.
Perhaps. Do either of those sort of scream at you that was the sliding door moment for the Boston Bruins? Is Svechnikov hit on Lindholm? Lindholm's back, by the way, tonight. Or the Brad Marchand breakaway on Bobrovsky.
I mean, I think that the one that easily jumps to the front of mind is them just losing to Florida, after the record-breaking season. So, like, yeah, I guess like if you're gonna kind of dissect it, the Marchand one makes a lot more sense to me than the Lindholm one, mainly because like Lindholm before he got hurt last year, and maybe this is a bigger point to what you're trying to say is like. Lindholm is so important to this team, and that has become so incredibly apparent over the past couple of years. Because even this year, when he fell out of the lineup after the first couple of games, they fell apart defensively, and that was considered to be the strength of this team, or one of the strengths of this team. And they've just been a disaster defensively. So I do think that blue line really, really needs Hampus Lindholm to be what it is thought to be.
I think unfinished business is a poisoning element in the National Hockey League. If the Bruins beat the Panthers in that series, and then they go on to win the Cup after the season that they had, I mean, it's the end of Infinity War. It's Thanos hanging up the armor, being like, "My work here is done." They could do all. There's retirements. There's Marchand leaving. All that stuff can happen with a sense of satisfaction that. We did it again, and we got another banner up there, and this group accomplished what they set to accomplish. I think if Edmonton had won either of the last two Stanley Cup finals, McDavid's a free agent this summer. Like I just think the sense of unfinished business, the sense of what might have been, is something that kind of poisons the mind of players and executives in this league, and I'm sure it's played into the sense of let's just try to dig our heels in and not rebuild in Boston.
But at what point, then the conversation becomes like, at what point is there too much unfinished business to where there shouldn't be business at all? And like, that's where a lot of Bruins fans are with this front office, is like almost the entire definition and sort of vibe around this front office is that they do business, they never finish it. They've gotten close so many times, and like the body of work is not unpalatable. It's not bad all the time. They were handed the keys to a very nice car, and it just has never really reached the destination. And now things look really bad, and I don't know how much faith there is in this group being the one to turn it around, especially when the messaging is kind of confusing.
Do you think the math on their future would be different if they didn't sign Pasternak to that extension? Like if they didn't want to squander having a player like that on the roster, like if he wasn't there, would they be rebuilding right now?
I think that there would definitely be more clarity in that they need to rebuild. Like I think that when you have David Pasternak, Charlie McAvoy, and Jeremy Swayman at three pillars on the front, back, and in net, then you look at the team and you say, well, there is a path here to rebuilding something, or there is a path here to the bones of this team being okay. There's just nothing else really around them that makes you feel good about the direction, and there's not a lot coming to make you feel good about the direction. So that's where we are. It's a confusing spot to be in, and it's going to lead to some very difficult decisions possibly in the next couple of years, where you might have to move off those guys because there's just really no path forward without wasting prime years.
I'm glad you mentioned Jeremy Swayman. One of the things that Wish and I were talking about on Tuesday was this idea. Like, I've always sort of looked at goaltenders a very specific way. When two goaltenders have similar save percentages, like we see with Swayman and Korpisalo, and they could be, instead of being 886 and 870, they could be 921 and 919. And I would say the same thing. it's less about the goaltenders and it's more about something else, probably the defense. Do you look at this tandem, and Korpisalo goes tonight, do you look at Korpisalo and Swayman, Swayman at 886 and Korpisalo at 870, do you say, wow, these guys are really underperforming? Or is the fact that their save percentages are almost identical tell you something else about the Bruins?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that either one of them has been particularly good, but I would say that neither one of them has been particularly the problem either, like not even close. So when you watch the Bruins and sort of what they've been recently, especially during that skid, they can't defend around the net whatsoever. And it's been a disaster, and it's been extremely unpalatable. Again, because this was supposed to be one of the strengths of this team. When you talk about a path forward for this team being competitive this year, they've scored more than anybody has expected them to out of the gate. What's been the problem is that the defense is just completely failing and breaking down in front of the net, and it's leading to a ton of goals against, especially in spots where it immediately kills momentum that has been generated by the forward group up front.
I want to ask you about your show for a second. A proud member of the Nation Network, from what I understand.
True. Zamboni dog.
How does it make you feel when you see?
Dog.
Yeah, indeed. How does it make you feel when you see a player wear a bright pink "What Chaos" hat?
I wish it was an NHL player, but I'll take an NFL player. It makes me feel great. I mean, the fact that happened just rocked our worlds this week to see a Buffalo Bills player heading into the stadium on Sunday wearing a What Chaos hat. It's unbelievable stuff. Very important to our producer who's from Buffalo.
So this is the interesting thing. I don't know. Did anyone tell you that Tage Thompson was wearing one at the Player Media Tour?
No.
Tage Thompson was wearing.
No one told you
What
this?
Chaos hat.
Nobody told me this.
I just assumed that they were becoming ubiquitous within the NHL community when I saw him wearing one.
I mean, that's unbelievable. Thank you for telling me. I wish that I had better friends directly around me that would have relayed this to me. This is great news. Thank you.
I mean, I think he's very tall, so I'm pretty sure
no one saw it.
I saw him wear one. Yeah,
The underbrim looked a lot like your What Chaos lids. I think that it was one of those.
Okay, so now let's talk about What Chaos fan Tage Thompson. Actually, I do want to ask you one thing about the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know how big I want to make this moment, but it does feel kind of like perhaps the beginning of the ending of something. Alex Lyon starts tonight for the Buffalo Sabres.
He's been really good. He's been really good.
He's playing good. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is, just by way of contract, is supposed to be their number one guy. Right now they're rocking 3 goaltenders, Colton Ellis as well, Devin Levi and Alexander Georgiev banging it out in Rochester right now. All the goaltenders, they've got a goalie magnet in the Buffalo Sabres organization. All the goalies go there right now. How big a story is this for you guys that Alex Lyon has the spot over Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? It kind of feels like this could be, it's not the end. I can't imagine Luukkonen's thrilled, but do we say it's the beginning of the end? Does it feel that way for Luukkonen in Buffalo?
I mean, I'd say no, because like the goaltending is always so fickle, and like it can change on the drop of a hat. Like, I mean, think to where we were a year ago when we were talking about like the Sabres might be locked into one of the best goalie tandems in the league for years to come with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Devin Levi. And now we're talking about Alex Lyon being the one in Buffalo. So things change very quickly. And if you're, all I'll say about this situation is that UPL's reaction to how this all develops will say a lot about UPL. Because if you're the Buffalo Sabres, if you're any of the guys in the room in Buffalo, you have to understand the spot that the franchise is in and the pressure that is on that team to finally arrive. I don't care if it's a guy off the street playing net for the Buffalo Sabres. If he's giving them the best chance to win hockey games right now and snap that drought, nobody in the room should have a single problem with the best goaltender getting the net.
Wish, what do you
Pretty
think?
sure the guy off the street was Eric Comrie, if memory serves. Eric, was Alex Lyon? Was there a changing of the guard when Alex Lyon got the Panthers into the playoffs? that one year? I mean, there wasn't. It's just what he does. He gets good. He gets hot.
He got him there,
he's
but
your
then
solution for a good
they went
month
to
and a
Bob
half,
and
then he's not.
That save on Marchand that we just talked about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, like history
feel
has
like
shown
if
us
we were
there is
doing this-
precedent. There is precedent for Alex Lyon essentially spearheading and being the engine for a modern day dynasty. So is it, I think I'm going to reposition your question, Marek, to are we looking at the beginning of a modern day dynasty with the Buffalo Sabres?
So instead of the Buffalo Sabres sending players to Florida to win the Stanley Cup, it's going to be the opposite now. And the Florida Panthers are reciprocating by sending back the Reinhardts and the Montours to go and win Stanley Cups and Rodriguez's to go win Stanley Cups in Buffalo. Well, okay, that's I'm glad we got to this spot here.
I just if this was a podcast from 15 years ago, I feel like Marek's like, I don't know, Niedermaki, what do you think, Vezina? Like, these guys are backup goalies. Like, they just go on hot streaks and then they're good for like a month and a half, and then we don't think of them anymore because they just aren't.
Did you not see what he did with the Phantoms? I mean, Calder Cup is tough, man. Will you have someone like Niedermaki? You hold him sacred like a newborn. Greg, you of all people, once again, proud father, should know this.
I am a very. I want to say this though. Like I think a backup like Niedermaki or Alex Lyon, or there's some others that we've seen in this league, are actually some of the most valuable guys you can have. Like Jake Allen, for example, like a guy that can kind of like push your starter and make him feel uneasy about his struggles. And you know, I think having a quality backup like that, not only to bail you out for a good 6 weeks, but also to like at least challenge the other guy, I think is an incredible asset to have in this league.
I mean, we've gone from talking about the NHL as like a 2-goalie league recently to now I think like we're talking about a 3-goalie league at this point, because you need a 1A, you need maybe a 1B, and then you need a stabilizer. Like
Taxi
if you
squad
don't
goalie.
have that stabilizer in the third spot, your season can go off the rails so quickly.
The problem is that guy doesn't get to play. And usually that guy's going to be a young guy. And look at, we think back to the COVID taxi squad and how many goaltenders, and Michael DiPietro is front of that list, did that almost totally crush. I get it. It's tough.
Man, no.
It's I know what you're trying. I know what you're saying. I get it. I just don't know how. I mean, listen, the history of teams trying to make the three-headed monster work is long, and it usually ends up in the exact same place. And at least one, sometimes two, get major boo-boo face about it.
I'm not saying that you have to keep 3 goalies on the roster. I'm saying that like if you don't have a third goalie in the organization, in the system, who can be a stabilizer, that you feel like can be a stabilizer, your season could just be flushed down the drain immediately.
It's funny, too. All roads lead back to Colton Ellis. What do the St. Louis Blues need right now? They need Colton Ellis back.
They need one save. Just one singular save at any point, please.
All right.
I just love the fact that Marek is creating commercials set to Sarah McLachlan music for Nico Dawes. Won't anyone think of Nico Dawes?
Just we got 5 cents a day could save your third
string goaltender. Will you please, for 1 second, put down what you're doing and listen to our message? Pete, you're the best. Congratulations once again on the success. Great to have you aboard as part of the family here, and we'll catch up soon. Say hi to Bean for us, okay?
Will do. Thank you, guys. Love you.
There he is, the great Pete Blackburn. We kind of talked about Boston and just danced all around with everything else. I don't know.
I think what Pete says is true, which is that even like someone who's a bit closer to the team than we are has no clue what they're trying to do either. Like, it's confounding. It's a confounding team, right?
It is. I got to hustle because I got to get on your M-Truck show here in a couple of seconds. But I want you aboard for a couple of segments here, because I know that you are always hungry for hockey history. And Hungry for Hockey History is a presentation of Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all of the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Zach, what is the troika, the line that you've put together for us today and curated cleverly?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't know what Wish is laughing at. You and I put our heads together and thought long and hard about that creative name. So I don't know what's so funny.
I am laughing because I'm trying to think about whether Uber Eats came to you with a hockey history SpawnCon.
Well, it was supposed to be about stats, and then it evolved into hockey history.
How quickly in that meeting, Marek's like, "What about hockey history?" You're like, "Okay, buddy."
Give the baby his bottle. Okay, Marek, fine. You know, hockey history. That's very, very clever.
Yeah. I grabbed 3 for today. Back in 1969, Jean Béliveau picked up an assist in a 2-2 tie against the Blues for his 1100th point in his 1001st NHL game. In 1983, 4 brothers played in the same NHL game for the first time ever. That was the Sutters, Brian and Daryl for St. Louis, and Dwayne and Brent for the Islanders. And then, topical for today, in 2008, Steven Stamkos scored his first 2 goals of his NHL career as the Lightning beat the Buffalo Sabres 5-2. And to this point, we don't know if he'll ever score again.
Wow, he just misses the Eastern Conference. He just really to the point about the Sutters. One of the funniest things, and I don't think any of them would be offended by this because anytime I've ever talked to any of them, they've all said the same thing. I remember having a conversation with someone about the Sutter family, making the point that, you know what, they may not have 100 points a year and all that. They weren't like flashy players, smooth skaters and all that. I said, but you'll always get like an honest day's effort out of the Sutter family, Viking, Alberta, farm family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They work hard every single night, every single shift. And this person, who was a longtime hockey person, turned to me and said, "You dummy. It looks like they're working hard because they can't skate. Anyone who can't skate looks like they're working." I remember I said that to Richie once. We were working. He had working together. We had a really good laugh about that. But anyhow,
the Sutters are quantity over quality. The Hughes brothers are quality over quantity. That's the point of demarcation.
Yeah, man. But I'll tell you what. I really love. Well, first of all, I think we're all on the same page. Either Brian or Brent were the best of the two, and then you can quibble about who is the best between Brian or Brent. But those two were the best out of that family. Easily. And there was also a brother who didn't make the NHL. How'd you like to be that guy? How would you like to be Vest Pocket Rocket? Not Rocket Richard. They did have a brother called Vest Pocket Rocket who never made it to the NHL. That was his nickname. I don't know.
Did they really? Was that his nickname? Vest Pocket Rocket?
Yeah. Here, I'll tell you his name. Here. Hang on.
Oh my goodness.
You think I make this shit up? Come on.
The Rocket, the Pocket Rocket, and then your
Claude Richard.
The back of
dubbed the
back
Vest
of the
Pocket. Yeah. Claude Richard, Vest Pocket Rocket. There was Rocket.
Vest Pocket Rocket.
Yeah, and there was Henri Pocket Rocket, and then there was Vest Pocket Rocket. How much smaller in your sort of Russian dolls do you have to get after Vest Pocket Rocket? By the way, you mentioned
if I was Claude, if I was Claude, I'd be like, can you guys just call me like Shardy? Like, we're getting into some really, really embarrassing nickname territory here. We don't have to go like you know, inside your sock pocket, right? Like, no, we don't need to do any of that. You mentioned a different nickname.
You mentioned I mentioned your lobster mug because I love it, and so this is the one
as you guys can hear,
what do you rotate?
I'm still rocking a bit of the head cold. I should have done this show. If I drop my voice like this, I sound like Alec Baldwin. I enjoy working with Sean Connery.
I thought that was I thought that was your nickel and dime. He has passed, but he was one of the greats. I thought that was your Tom McVie impression.
That's man, like you talk about a lost art in the NHL. Yep. He's the player's coach and then the disciplinarian. And Tommy McVie was always the disciplinarian. So the one that Marek loves is this
love the lobster
Maine lobster mug that I got in Maine. But the other one I've been drinking out of, this was a little espresso before the show, is a skeleton smoking a cigarette.
I love that.
So I'm double fisting during MDSW.
Underneath all of it, Greg Wyshynski reminds us, underneath all of it, we are all the same. The person who gave me this old Seattle Totems, Western Hockey League champions, 59, 67, 68, is someone you know who used to go by the name @NHL Ties. Patrick
Oh,
Manager.
wow.
Yeah, gave me this mug. So this is my daily
It's a cool looking mug.
sheet. I know, and it matches the green. I just thought it looked cool. It was a nice. Anyway, shout out. I miss NHL ties. Do you remember who was the James Bond of ties?
Who was that?
Drew Remenda
Oh, that's right.
was the king
right.
of the tie.
A good knot on that tie. I miss most things about old internet, for various and sundry reasons.
NHL tie is one of my favorite. I remember how cool it was.
Yeah,
you were with me when we met him at our event in Toronto, right? And we had dinner
yeah.
on Bloor Street. I'm like, you're NHL ties?
Yeah.
Pat Manager? That's awesome. Great
Was he
dude.
wearing it? He wasn't even wearing a tie at that point.
I don't even know if he has a tie. Although he gave me a tie that day. Just like a t-shirt and jeans. Just like hockey-loving dude. Anyhow.
Do you think that he just looked jealously at others' ties while never wearing one himself?
Longingly at other ties. I wish. I wish.
I
Listen,
wish I could do a double Windsor like he could.
I'll tell you, man, I don't know how Drew, because I worked with Drew for years, and he would show me how he would get the dimple. I could never get the dimple on a tie. I couldn't, no matter how.
I just
hard or
assumed
long
that guy
I tried.
rolled out of bed in a suit. He was one of those guys who just
So good.
rolled
Drew's
out of bed
always-
in a suit.
Yeah, Drew's got his act together. Okay, and real tough too, like double black belt in jiu-jitsu and stuff. I don't know if you know that about Drew. Like, if you look at like the announcers, oh yeah, oh no, you don't know this about Drew? He's a secret killer.
No.
Drew Remenda, Sharks fans. If you took like every media member in the entire NHL and say who would win a fight, Drew Remenda, every single time, would destroy everybody and
out.
barely break a sweat.
So he's an announcer for an NHL team
Yeah.
that flies from all around North America,
Yeah.
but he's also
Yes.
a contract killer. So he's doing hits,
Yeah.
and then he's putting on the headset an hour later to talk about the game.
I'll be right back to solve this crime, but first, it's the Sharks and the Kings. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Drew Remenda. Secret killer, I'm telling you. And looks great doing it. He's hockey's James Bond. All right, you have a good rest of your day. Rest that cold, rest those pipes. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday.
Yeah, I know.
There
Thanks,
he is.
everybody.
Thanks, pal. There he is, the great Greg Wyshynski, stopping by Tuesdays and Thursday. We are getting so heavy on the show today. Oh, my God. And I got to go do Oilers. All right, what do we got left? We have, I know what we got a busy night around the NHL. The sheet is powered by FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel. It's the NHL season, and FanDuel is your home for all the action on the ice. From Blue Line to BetSlip, we've got you covered all season with unique promos, live offerings, and more features to let you play your game. Missed puck drop? No sweat. With the live same-game parlay, you can build your bets up until the final buzzer. Download FanDuel Sportsbook today and play your game. Please play responsibly. 18 plus and physically located in Ontario. If you have questions or concerns about your gambling or the gambling of someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. What do we have for ball games tonight? I know we talked about the goaltending situation with the Buffalo Sabres. What else is spicing you right now? I guess we really didn't talk about Jonathan Toews facing off against the Chicago Blackhawks, which when we woke up today was going to be our big plan today. Plans are useless, but planning is everything. LBJ.
Yes, I'm ready for whatever on this show. Basically, as soon as we started the show, I was like, well, there's Nečas 10 seconds in, and it's all gone to shit. But it's all good. That's what the people want. That's what makes the show fun. We'll do this quick here, Jeff.
Yep.
The other day, I showed you how they had the cool market came up of who gets most shots on goal. I think that was last Thursday, maybe. I came across that one. So I started digging more. Tonight, 11 games. You can bet on FanDuel who is the highest scoring team. So you can bet on every team in there if you want to bet some big underdogs for this one. But I took the top 5. The Devils there obviously playing against the Sharks. The Hurricanes playing against the Islanders here. The Winnipeg Jets, they are playing against...
Chicago.
The Winnipeg Jets playing
Jets
against
playing
Blackhawks.
Chicago.
Yeah, I just
talked about that. 5 seconds ago.
It blacked out in my brain
I know.
as I was saying
You
their
got
name out loud.
Blue Jays on the mind. I know you can't be bothered with hockey right now. I understand.
No,
With the
it wasn't
hat
even that.
on.
I knew that that's who they were playing, and then as soon as I went to say it, it was like that moment of like, wait a minute. Are they playing them tonight? And I was like, we just talked about this. They
talked about
are.
this.
And then I started second guessing myself.
Who's starting for
Wild,
the
they're playing
Sabres
against
tonight?
Penguins.
Who's in net for the Swords tonight? Anybody we talking?
But you can bet on a bunch of different stuff over there. I found this one today. I thought that was pretty cool. If I had to take a pick of who's going to score the most today,
Yeah.
I'm in on the New Jersey Devils. I kind of feel like we see just like this fast, fun game here tonight. I know that they're the favorite of all the teams at plus 1,000, but that's the way that I would be looking for tonight. New
I'm
Jersey
curious
Devils.
to see what chance we get for Jonathan Toews tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Jets
warm
fans
reception
are
here.
Jets fans are some of the best in the NHL. He's ours now. That's if we have a line on possible chance, he's ours now. Or he's ours again. I don't know. Whatever you want to do with it. I got to get to Oilers Nation every day here with Tyler and Liam.
Yep.
Probably best. You want to take it off there? How would you end this show? Why don't I let you end the show? I'm going to sit here like you, and I want you to land the plane today. All right. One of the great things about working with you as a young broadcaster is I get to put you in situations that are really uncomfortable for you. Okay, ready? I'm just going to sit here and do dog face. And you're going to land the plane.
Okay. Coming up right after the program here over on Oilers Nation, 2:15 Eastern Time, you can catch Jeff Merrick alongside Tyler and Liam, teeing up what you can find later here on the Daily Faceoff channel. Adam Henrique on the road, the full episode dropping if you want to watch it in video form. It's right here Saturday morning coming out on podcasting platforms. You can catch Jeff and Adam, everything that you want to know about his career from his time in juniors all the way through the NHL. That'll be coming up here. Later today, 11 games across the NHL. Thanks to everyone who tuned in here today. The best thing you can do to support this show, hit the like button, subscribe here to the channel, find us across all your audio platforms. As we always know, when you leave the show here today, oh shit, what is the thing? Tip your Zamboni driver on the way out. I was trying to go with the exact one. I'm like, the hole, the buns, the haul, it all started
Thanks
getting
for the
in my
buns
head.
and the
I
use
thought
of the
it was gonna
haul.
be
Tip
clean.
your Zamboni
Thank
driver
you.
on the way out.
I was like, I was going to do it. And then I screwed up, went backwards
You're
in my
doing
head
so
about
good.
which one you tip. I
You're
screwed up
doing
which
so
one
good.
you tip.
Tip the buns
that like
in the
button.
hall with the Zamboni. Talk to everybody.
I was
Talk
like,
to you tomorrow. Look, how do you make it through a day, Zach? I swear, I don't know. Talk to you tomorrow.
I
We'll
don't
talk
know.
to you tomorrow. Jeff Merrick along with you. Hope you enjoyed the program today. If you did, or maybe even if you didn't, they can't all be gems, folks. Please hit the subscribe button. Also a reminder, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Johnny Lazarus, Colby Cohen, I call them the Impact Players. You might know them as a tandem that makes up the Morning Cup of Hockey. Also DFO Live at noon Eastern. This year, your host Tyler Yaremchuk alongside Carter Hutton. Full day's worth of programming right here on Daily Faceoff, your favorite YouTube hockey channel. And as a reminder as well, Zach Phillips, our producer here for the sheet,